Welcome. It's indisputable. I'm your host, Rashad Richey. Good to be with you. We have a lot on the agenda today, breaking down news of the day. None other than Tehran Von Ghasri. Always fascinated to his brilliant analysis, actor and comedian extraordinaire. Top story of the day, hell of a thing. This is an update. Trump enraged as Epstein backlash continues from MAGA. He is no longer going after Democrats. He's now going after MAGA. Interesting development. Trump responds by cursing them out. Here it is.
Watch this Trump supporter burn his MAGA hats after Donald Trump told his supporters to basically get over the Epstein files. Just take a look.
We're not going to play with these anymore. MAGA hats are off. America First hats are on. Burn, baby, burn.
Put it up full mass. This represents a significant following of Donald Trump. Videos of furious MAGA members burning their red, quote, "Make America Great Again" hats have flooded TikTok and X with the viral hashtag, quote, "Release the files," trending across all of social media. Trump posted a Truth Social, quote, "Their new scam is what we will forever call the Jeffrey Epstein hoax. And my past supporters have bought into this bullish hook, line, and sinker." Trump added, "They haven't learned their lesson and probably never will, even after being conned by the lunatic left for 8 long years." Well, let me say this. Sir, you're going to have to just go ahead and admit you're in the damn files. Okay, we know you're in the file, sir. It's obvious you're in the file. You're not in the business of saving somebody else's ass. You're in the business of saving your own. Now, once again, if it by proxy happens to help others, so be it. But this is about you. You're simply making it worse for yourself. Because when it comes out, and it will, it will, when it comes out that you are in the list, it will be evident to all that you were simply stalling and you made your cronies do the same thing. I do find it quite interesting, Trump, that you hired 3 individuals who were strong. Release the Epstein files. I mean, hardcore, from Bondi to everybody else. And then you used them because you thought they had credibility to say, "Oh, guess what, guys? We were wrong. There's no Epstein file. There's nothing to see here." But here's what's interesting. Even though every single one of them went on record prior to becoming members of the administration, all of them went on record and said, the Epstein files are real. The victims are real. The tapes are real. Everybody went on record. Here's what they haven't said. None of them have said we were wrong. Now, yes, they have said there's nothing to see, but none of them have said we were wrong. I was wrong. They simply stuck to these talking points. But I will tell you something that really brought life to me today when I saw it. My dear brother, Congressman Hank Johnson, who, by the way, has been practicing on playing the guitar, similar to me practicing playing the piano. He happens to be a dear friend. And well, here's what he had to say.
Congressman Hank Johnson coming to give you some more ear candy or perhaps an earache. But I'm going to do my best off of this Jason Isbell tune, Dreamsicle.
Epstein died by suicide. Believe that and you must be blind. You've been telling us you released the file, but where are they? We've gone along with what's been told. You've had plenty of time, you're in control. But now you say you will withhold the Epstein file. Dream dreamsicle on a summer night in a folding lawn chair. Trump's howling at the moon. Release the Epstein files soon.
If you make that your ringtone, go to a Trump strong territory and just let that play, you will find friends amongst the Trumpers. Oh, beautiful. Well done, Congressman. Obviously, this is a big deal for MAGA and a big deal for the Trump empire. And obviously a big deal for those who have been appointed by Trump, because they also echoed the same sentiment, a reminder. For years, Trump and his allies have stoked the belief that he would be the one to pull back the curtain on Epstein's alleged trafficking network and its high-powered clientele. That's what he said. During the 2024 campaign, Trump and Vice President J.D. Vance repeatedly hinted that they will be the ones to declassify the full Epstein file. Quote, "I'm inclined to release it all," end quote. Trump said at a rally last year, "I'm inclined to release it all." Now, remember when it first came out, the Department of Justice has this wording that says, "We find no credible evidence." And once again, I emphasized and brought attention to the word credible. That means that somebody is weighing the credibility of the evidence, which also means evidence is available. Second, they said, and we also have no information that high profile people were blackmailed. Well, wait a minute. Why does it have to be high profile? What about victims? What about the parents of victims? What about people who just were aware that this was happening? Maybe they're not high profile in your book, but they're high profile in mine. Here we go. All right, Tehran, this disaster continues to get worse and worse for Donald Trump. MAGA doesn't seem to be flinching here. What say you?
What I say is there are no Epstein files. We need to get over this. The government does not lie. They've never lied before. Tuskegee experiment. They've never had Watergate. They've never had Vietnam or Desert Storm or Korea. None of these things are lies. I don't know why people are so stuck on these Epstein files. It's as if the same Republicans that are saying that there are no Epstein files were before on the record saying there are Epstein files and insisting that they get released. That never happened. This is a major cover up. This is a major gaslighting of the American public, and people are now becoming aware. It is a major blow for the Trump administration and to whatever is left or remaining of any type of credibility he may or may not ever have had. This is exactly the exposure that needs to come out. Epstein list clearly existed, and I actually going right on am saying that I believe that governments like Russia and Israel are privy to this knowledge and have been using this possibly to control our government. And yes, I said that if I disappear, just know that I'm not Epstein. I will never unalive myself. Please know that now. It's something that we actually have to say. This is gaslighting the entire American public. They tried it with Elon Musk and the "my heart goes out to you," and now they are doubling down right now. Please do not be fooled by this.
That's right, well said. And once again, we have to note the probable and the possible. If Trump is in these files, it doesn't simply represent one person not exposing himself. Likely, as you said, other governments are involved, including our own and our allies, or quasi-allies. And if that is true, that would also mean that by proxy, we or our intelligence agencies, and by proxy, once again, those allies, have been involved in human trafficking of underage individuals. That is the scandal of a lifetime. So we shall see updates to come, obviously, as it continues to pour out. All right, here we go. Another cop shoots a black teen in the back, and the police refuse to release The footage, put it up full mass. I have a lot of details, a lot of background here. Very sad. The family of Jabari Peoples says an Alabama cop shot their son in the back and left him to bleed out. Jabari Peoples was fatally shot on June 23rd in the Birmingham suburb of Homewood. Now police face accusations of a cover-up as footage remains sealed. We want access to that footage. Following the release of an independent autopsy, the results showing that a black college student was shot in the back by a police officer in Alabama. The family and their attorneys are calling for the state authorities to release body cam footage showing the fatal encounter. The day after the shooting, Homewood police posted some details on Facebook stating that one of their officers was investigating a suspicious car that evening when one of the vehicle occupants, quote, engaged in a physical altercation with the officer, end quote, and, quote, produced a handgun, resulting in an officer-involved shooting, end quote. So on June 25th, Homewood Police Department posted a press release identifying the young Mr. Peoples as the occupant who started the altercation. The release states that when the officer approached the car, quote, he smelled the odor of marijuana and ordered both occupants out of the vehicle. When Mr. Peoples got out of the car, the officer reportedly saw a handgun in the driver's side pocket. When the officer tried to arrest Peoples for marijuana possession and possible other charges, police said that Peoples started to actively resist, causing a physical struggle that reportedly knocked the officer to the ground. Quote, Peoples broke away from the officer and retrieved the handgun from the open driver's side door pocket, creating an immediate deadly threat to the officer. The release states, quote, the officer, fearing for his safety, fired one round from his service weapon to defend himself. Mr. Peoples fell to the ground, still gripping the handgun in his right hand. After medics were called to the scene, they rushed Mr. Peoples to the hospital where he was pronounced dead. The 18-year-old's family said they weren't notified about Mr. Peoples' death until more than 12 hours after the shooting. There's more. They disputed the police department's version of events with the help of Peoples' girlfriend, who was in the car as well and stated that the young Mr. Peoples was actually not armed at all, not aggressive, and did not resist and complied with police orders. Quote, he was approached by an individual in an unmarked vehicle with no lights, no sirens, or no visible identification. That officer exited the car, tapped on the window, and told the occupants to exit. They followed directions. Jabari complied, and within seconds, he was taken to the ground and shot. The family wrote on Facebook, quote, a witness was present. That person saw everything. There was no weapon. There was no threat. And once Jabari was shot, the officer took no life-saving action, no CPR, no medical attention, nothing. He was left to bleed out on the street. In their press release, Homewood police said the investigation and the body cam footage of the shooting were turned over to the Alabama Law Enforcement Agency per department protocol. And arrangements were being made to show People's family the video of the incident. However, the family has still not seen the body cam video. Now, this is a dramatic difference. The eyewitness testimony is dramatically different from the proclamation on Facebook by the police department. One account says the individual basically put a gun in his hand and posed a threat to law enforcement. Another person says there was no gun, no threat, and Mr. Jabari was in compliance. Then you have something else that is objective and not subjective. It's called your autopsy. The autopsy objectively claims that the young man was shot in the back, which also would mean you now have to weigh credibility to the second witness who said the young Jabari Peoples posed no threat because the autopsy reveals his back was toward the officer when the shot was made. This is science. There's more. 3 weeks, this is a quote, 3 weeks, and we still don't have answers. Civil rights attorney Ben Crump said at a news conference on July 15th. The family filed a petition demanding that the city of Homewood release the footage. But city officials say that Alabama law enforcement agency has custodial authority of the video. Homewood Mayor Alex Wyatt has called on the state agency to allow the family to view the video. The Jefferson County coroner has completed an autopsy, but ALEA is withholding those results as well as agency officials continue to investigate. Quote, no parent should have to bury their child, People's father said, adding an emotional plea to see the footage. Just show us what happened to our child, please. Family members are also considering filing a wrongful death and civil rights lawsuit. Naturally, they need the evidence to do so. In moments like this, closure is so important to parents of a slain child, regardless of how it happens. Because in the mind of the parent, the narrative inside of their mental parameters, just like it would happen for me, it would happen for many parents that are watching this. It goes extreme to the negative. And you want to know. You want to have surety as to what happened. And if you need to become an advocate for justice for your child, you want to know what happened to your baby. So we stand with Ben Crump and the family to demand the release of this video. And the family should have seen it well before now. And while the local police may claim that the custodial authority is with the state agency, I understand that's another cop-out, no pun intended, because the local police department still has jurisdiction over the investigation and can show that video at any time. All right, your other thoughts?
First of all, another condolences to the family of a young black male who was a victim of police. I'm tired of these condolences. My condolences to the Jabari family. Secondly, the Epstein files and police body cam when the police are wrong are basically in the same vault somewhere. I do not understand how we do not get body cam immediately. That is the point of body cam. Now, maybe there should be a 24-hour rule so the police can go over it first. I completely understand. However, as far as the family not getting it almost a month later, what are they hiding? Clearly, there is another cover-up in the midst. How do we know? The autopsy report, postmortem shows the shots were in the back. That does not corroborate the police officer's testimony. It does, however, corroborate the other witness, the girlfriend who was present at the scene, her testimony. Secondly, suspicion itself is not a criminal act. Why was the police engaged? They're allowed to investigate. They are not allowed to interrogate. He had no responsibility to answer any of the questions. Last but not least, when these situations happen, I always wonder, well, why would the person do that? Was the person involved in robbing a bank at the time? Was there something where it was an exigent circumstance where they felt that they fought back against the police officer? No, in this case, they were just simply there. They were simply, so what could have escalated in which Mr. Jabari could have even reacted this way to begin with if that had happened? It's not there. There's no circumstance, there is no respect, and there is no evidence in this case. Release the body cam.
Yeah, release the body cam. Let's deal with it as it is. To the community, continue to not rest until you have that footage. We'll stay on top of it with you. All right. Well, imagine working in 100+ degree weather, go to a Starbucks, make a delivery, and they refuse to give you a cup of damn water. Put it up full mass. This is going to be an interesting story because typically you and I would believe, hey, that's Starbucks. Simple, easy. Not so much. Here it is.
It was really hot outside and I was delivering a package to Starbucks. I had already finished the water that I pack every day in my cooler. Yes, I do bring a cooler for everyone who is saying you might as well pack a cooler, bring your own water. I do all that. I come prepared every day, but this day I happen to run out. I'm human. So I'm in there, I'm delivering the package, and I'm just like, hey, can I have a small cup of ice water? She tells me after I buy something, first she can give me the water, but she couldn't just give me the water. And I just wanted to say, I'm not here complaining. I don't feel entitled to anything. I bought a bottle of water. But again, I am human. I show up every day in extreme heat, in my uniform, in a truck with no AC. I love my job, I love my customers, and I love my route. But that doesn't mean that I don't have bad days.
You know, put up the picture full mass. This is, to me, an element of humanity versus corporate insanity. If you have water, you're $1 billion company, you have water, you should not create a policy to not give folk water. It's water. The individual who's working there is simply following corporate demand. I will explain that. So we have the details. So earlier this year, Starbucks changed its open door policy. Many people did not know this. They changed their open door policy to require all customers to make a purchase to use the bathroom or receive a complimentary cup of water. After delivering a package in the scorching heat, the postal worker asked for a cup of water, but the barista told her she must make a purchase first. The postal worker bought a bottled water. The postal worker, who goes by Melanin Glow Aesthetics on TikTok, posted a short video of herself inside a USPS truck and overlaid the clip with text, quote, imagine working out of a tin can in 100-degree heat, trying to stay alive, and walking into Starbucks for a cup of ice water, and they tell you no. Quote, I am human. I show up every day in extreme heat, in my uniform, in a truck with no AC. I love my job. I love my customers, and I love my route. But that doesn't mean I don't have bad days, she said in the video. The postal workers' TikTok page was flooded with responses from people who were shocked that Starbucks did not offer a complimentary water. Quote, I think Starbucks can afford a cup of water, one TikToker user posted. Another quote, a couple of years ago, we were all calling essential workers heroes. Now we can't give out a cup of water. Another comment read, another quote, a carrier died from the heat. We need to show each other more compassion. Someone else wrote, quote, a postal worker being denied water speaks so much to how low we have gone in humanity. I used to give mine Christmas gifts. Another person wrote. There are often news reports of workers dying from heat-related incidents. Starbucks recently faced backlash after barista told a woman she had to, quote, get in line after she requested a cup of ice water to help her husband who was suffering from a medical emergency. The couple left the shop and were given a water at a cafe across the street. Last month, a mail carrier who was 28, was a 28-year employee with the United States Postal Service, died after collapsing on his mail route in Dallas, Texas, while working in brutal 90-degree temperatures. In June 2024, 51-year-old Wednesday Johnson was found unresponsive at a post office in North Carolina right after making mail deliveries in a USPS truck with no air conditioning while enduring intense summer heat. Her family members believe she died of a possible heat stroke. These are the ones we know about. Believe me, there are many we do not. So there are a couple of issues here. One, lack of humanity, adverse policy. So let's deal with that. And then I'll get to the USPS. For those who are working in an industry where you have water available to you, damn it, give it to somebody who needs it. I don't care what the policy says. And if they fire you for giving out water, make sure you contact us. All right? Water can save somebody's life on a hot day, period. So let's put that aside. Policy-wise, shame on you, Starbucks, for being a company that allegedly is rooted in all of these great progressive values, but year by year, you get less progressive, you get more corporate, and in some aspects, you're exceeding the heartlessness of other corporations. Now, people can't get a cup of damn water for free. The PR, the negative PR that this will bring to you, will not be worth the freely available water that you have at your disposal at your companies. So shape up. 3, United States Postal Service. I think it is now time for you to give air-conditioned units to your workers, even if these units are portable, temporary, and utilized for the summertime. The woman had a great point. She's basically in a tin can in 100+ degree weather. We got to do better. All right, dear brother, thoughts?
Well, Dr. Richie, last fiscal year, Starbucks made $36.2 billion in revenue. And I completely understand their company policy, because if they continued to give out water this year, they would only make $36 billion in revenue. Starbucks, what are you thinking? Also, let's remind ourselves that this wasn't a customer that has come in, a protagonist every single day. This is the postal worker. There was a time where we would tip our postal workers. There was a time where we would buy our postal workers Christmas cards and gifts to show them our appreciation. And now Starbucks as a company has decided not to even gift them water when it's 100 degrees outside and the heat is pouring in. Shame on you, Starbucks. Shame on all of us who continue to support Starbucks for that caffeine addiction. Support those that support you. Remember that.
That's right. Well said. Let another tragedy strike. All of a sudden, those that deliver our mail, those that pick up our trash and work in sanitation, those that help us in service industries, they're number one. They are essential workers. And then when we out of said tragedy, you can't even get a cup of damn water. It's a shame. All right, we got more on the other side. Indisputable, stick and stay.
I don't care if you're Christian. In fact, I will fight for you to have your religious liberty and practice your Christianity. I believe in that. I don't believe in Christianity, which means that you do not get to dictate the way I live my life based on your religion. I don't care what the Bible says. You have every right in the world. All those women who identify with your religion have every right in the world to not get an abortion, to not take birth control, but they do not have the right to dictate my life and what I decide to do with my body. I don't care about your goddamn religion. I'm so tired of having nonstop conversations about what the Bible says. You live your life in the way that you interpret the Bible. Again, I don't care, but you don't get to take the Bible and tell me, well, the Bible says this in this chapter, in this verse. I don't care. I don't care, I don't believe in it, and I have the right, based on our Constitution, to not believe in it.
Here I am, Nancy Pelosi, saying this country needs a strong Republican Party, and we do.
No one is representing what I call the silent majority, which is about 2/3 of this country, indisputably progressive.
But now we say the time has come for regime change in American television.
The Young Turks Network.
You have the Young Turks saying this is the time to fight for our values.
Young Turks is the oldest left media institution I believe that there is. A real front runner in the online media space.
You guys might know us. biggest online left of center outlet that exists.
All of you know the Young Turks?
People from this district heard about Justice Democrats by watching your show.
Thanks to the Young Turks for covering Trayvon Martin's case early on when few people were covering.
They don't stop, I won't stop. Racism won't stop, so I won't stop.
Species are at risk of going extinct. Major media outlets did not dedicate much time at all to that.
We reached a whole heap of people with our progressive message.
We're not the Young Turks, you're the Young Turks.
That 300 million is a pretty good number, Well, that's the size of the US population. You know what our next target is? The size of the entire world.
We just crossed 5 billion views on YouTube.
I mean, imagine 10 years ago thinking one day, we would have looked at you like, are you nuts?
Young Turks has just passed another milestone. 25 billion lifetime views.
Damn.
Too strong, way too strong. That's 25 billion times someone watched the progressive message delivered to people all over the world. You know who helped to do that? You guys did. Our members and our audience are amazing, and they helped us to reach 2 generations, both millennials and Gen Z. They're both super progressive. And I gotta tell you, we're just getting started. Thank you. All right, lots of comments. You guys are the best.
I'm gonna read a few comments from our members.
Mr. Methuselah says on YouTube, super chat, thanks for all the important work you do for TYT for the movement.
Do you know who had the first super chat when I got back from vacation? You won't be surprised to find out. Billy B. Taylor. What do you know? Billy says, rejoice, for Dragon Daddy has returned.
This question sent to us by Izzy Sanchez Jr. Is it me or is Meghan McCain talking as fast as Ben Shapiro? Is that the way the right tries to look smart and intellectual? Well, yes.
Michael Nathan writes it on Twitter. Did Anna choose Cenk's outfit today? I'm sure it wasn't Cenk himself. Man Bun Jenkins Skinny Jeans says, so now Anna has pointed out, okay, that's his handle.
T. Joyce, 1971, saying Donald Trump is good at pulling out of things, NAFTA, the Iran deal, NATO. It's just too bad Fred Trump didn't.
All right, welcome back. Lot of show left. I'll read a few comments and very thankful for everyone who joins the conversation and also those who always support the program. All right. Yep. Dro Mario says, they knew that orange flavored mayonnaise will spoil when they start clicking the jar with a spoon. Jessica Moore says, there was no transparency. Pam Bondi said she had the files on her desk and now they don't exist. Actually, they're a hoax. So they exist, but they for play. They are there, but they're not real, okay? They're made up. So when they come out, he's gonna say, hey, you see, I told you it was a hoax. Look, my name's on there. That's what he's going to tell them. Obviously, it's a hoax made up by Obama. Black teen shot by the police. Nova 17 Gaming. I live in that area. All cops around here act like the law doesn't apply to them. It's a massive problem and no one says anything. Hopefully somebody's saying something now. Thank you for that insight. And next to what your report says, this sounds like a planned assassination to me. Wow. And Chi Massey, member for 35 months, thank you for your support. I remember running down the street to catch the postman's truck to give him a glass of water when she saw him sweating through his shirt. Yep. This world has got to change back to being human again. Yep. And wow, Paul Kaiser says it's illegal to deny water in Arizona. There you go. It's amazing. You got to make a law to be decent. All right. Well, we got breaking news. Trump's Department of Justice wants a 1-day sentence for the cop involved in the Breonna Taylor killing. Okay, put it up for a man. We have the update. So according to CNN, Trump's Justice Department is asking that a former police officer found guilty of violating the civil rights of Breonna Taylor in 2020 when she was shot and killed by police in her home be sentenced to 1 day in jail. The officer, Brett Hankinson of Kentucky, was convicted on 1 count of abusing Taylor's civil rights last year after firing several shots through Taylor's bedroom window during a police raid. He is said to be sentenced on Monday, but in a court filing Wednesday, the Justice Department argued that although the cop, quote, was part of the team executing the warrant, defendant Hankinson did not shoot Miss Taylor and is not otherwise responsible for her death, end quote. The request for Hankinson to serve 1 day behind bars would mean a sentence of time served, meaning that he would not return to jail. They are also asking the judge to sentence him to 3 years of supervised release. The filing was signed not by lawyers involved in the case or the career staff who usually handle sentencing requests. But this particular order was signed by Trump appointees. Those appointees are assigned to run the Civil Rights Department. You have Harmit Dillian, and a senior non-career official in her division. I'm going to give you a reminder of what happened in just a moment, but just take this in. Trump appointees have come in, they have taken the case away from the career prosecutors who were involved. They have decided to pull rank so that this individual gets no jail time. I want you to keep this in perspective. If a teenager happens to be in the vehicle with somebody who commits a felony and they have knowledge of said crime, that teenager is charged along with the person who actually committed the crime. Various states have various ways to do this. Some states call it their gang statute, etc. But basically, every prosecutor in every state has the authority to charge everyone who is involved, even if one person pulled the trigger and was at the scene. But when it comes to police officers, all of a sudden, we get a lens of nuance that simply doesn't apply to the everyday human being, not even to a teenager who is in an immature situation. But grown men who are trained in the law get the benefit of the doubt in ways that a child who has never been trained in the law never would. Does that seem fair to you? Taylor was shot during a botched no-knock warrant, if you remember. This was a raid back in 2020 when the officers were searching for Taylor's ex-boyfriend. We'll put the picture back up for a minute. They were searching for Taylor's ex-boyfriend. The ex-boyfriend, according to them, was a heavy narcotics dealer, okay? Taylor's boyfriend at the time, Kenneth Walker III, later said he thought they were intruders and opened fire at police officers. Officers returned fire, including Hankinson, who was accused of blindly firing through a patio door and a window. The bullets pierced into the neighboring apartment where a pregnant woman, a man, and a child were home. That's according to prosecutors. Hankinson was fired from the police department in late June 2020, and in apparent criticism of the Biden-era Justice Department's handling of the case under Trump's DOJ, noted in their Wednesday filing that Hankinson, the cop, was acquitted in a state trial and that the first federal trial ended in a mistrial. In this case, 2 federal trials were ultimately necessary to obtain a unanimous verdict of guilt, prosecutors wrote. But even then, the jury convicted on only 1 count, despite the fact that the elements of the charge and underlying conduct are essentially the same. Understand this is a massive reality that we are in today. Under any other theory of a crime, everybody who decided to engage in the crime, they are responsible for said crime. Now, the reality is this: it didn't just end there. The crime started before you even got to that point. How? Well, they deceived the magistrate judge to sign the warrant. They then engaged in a cover-up after the shooting because they had one person who had already turned state witness against them who was in that conversation. So what about those? What about the reality of the cover-up, the prerequisite manipulation that led to the warrant in the first place? All of that. A human being who was a person that saved lives, a first responder, is dead. That is how much her life is worth to them one day. One day. All right. Tehran, thoughts, brother?
I am flabbergasted. I'm disgusted, but I cannot say I'm not surprised. This administration has consistently had a prerequisite of white supremacy, blue supremacy, and anything and everything that stands for tyranny. This is not about politics. This is not Republican, Democrat. This is humanity versus complacency. This is democracy versus oppression. We are looking at the beginning of the end. I cannot sound the alarm enough. One day is all that Breonna Taylor's life is worth. As you mentioned, Dr. Ritchie, let me explain that Breonna Taylor was murdered. They were looking for her ex-boyfriend. If that was the case, I know a lot of girls that might be murdered today. Remember, this could happen to you. And the way it looks like, more increasingly, it just might.
Yeah, and that's why we have to continue to bring light to it. All right, we got more on the other side. Indisputable, stick and stay. Indisputable is still the fastest growing news show in America compared to CNN, Fox News, and 30 other networks. We tell the truth on Indisputable because the truth is indisputable. We go places that other news media outlets refuse to go. When there were human rights abuses happening at the Victorville prison, guards and members of the community contacted us.
You, through your investigative reporting, unearthed very troubling allegations about specific forms of abuse and discrimination in the federal prison system.
It really doesn't take much to be a trusted voice. All it takes is to be fearless, report on matters, be an advocate. I called it the bullpen intentionally because it's a place of preparation. We present individuals who may have an opposing view, so we debate. Sometimes we interview individuals because their stories deserve to be heard. A survivor of significant police misconduct and his attorney. We covered this story earlier and to remind you of the horror of one man being shot at damn near 100 times by the police. We take time on this show to showcase the temper tantrums of Karens in the wild.
We do this not because we want to see people's emotional outbursts in public, but because these incidents are emblematic of a bigger societal issue taking place across the nation, and it has to be checked.
My friend, my big homie, attorney at law, Benjamin Crump.
I just want to thank you, man. Educated, articulate brothers like yourself speak truth to power. It makes a great difference in changing the landscape in America. So
listen, no matter what you do, don't allow the politics of ideology to evaporate the soul that still exists inside of you. They don't stop, I don't stop. Racism won't stop, I won't stop. Systemic bias won't stop, I won't stop. People still need health care, so I won't stop. People still need criminal justice systems reformed, so I won't stop. You won't stop either.
All right, welcome back. Always good to be with you. A lot on the agenda. Let me read some of these comments. Troll Patrol Uncut. Thank you for that, by the way. Please release the Epstein files. Seriously, impeach the whole administration. Hashtag Troll Patrol Network. That's right. I agree. Over 9,000 into the dragon. Tehran is the bomb. Wait a minute. I didn't mean it like that. Don't ice me out. Love you all. Thank you, Doc. Stay strong. Got it. I got everything you said too. All right. And Devil Bear Huckturian. Thank you for that. That entitled N.Y.P.D of DOJ, along with Bondi and Press Trumpy, should be impeached and arrested immediately. And Brett Campbell, aka Dragging My Ass, what a freaking insult to Brianna and her family. That's right. And every member of the community, including you, who supported the actual justice that needed to be affixed. All right. Got something for you, ladies and gentlemen. I wish a Karen would.
You want to call the police on them for having a barbecue on a Sunday.
I feel free! Back off! I'm going to tell them there's an African-American man threatening my life.
Yeah, you're literally pissing off your customers. Shut the up. Take those glasses off. You don't even deserve to see. You. Bro, I'm done with this, bro. You're disrespecting all your clients at this point. Bro, call the police off him up. You guys mess with the wrong one. You guys with the realest person on the East Coast. Like, I'm literally doing a feature with Kodak Black. I'll on all of you guys. I'm taking off in 5 minutes for everybody's getting off this plane. And I'm getting money for everybody. I'll y'all up. Like, go ahead and call the please. Like, just the least of my worries. You think I give a call them. I packed it. It's in my suitcase. Can you get that from under the plane? If someone grab, you guys gotta make it up to me. If you just grab that from under the plane real quick, I'll shut the I'm just trying to go to sleep at this point and charge my phone. Like, if I get a text and I miss it, I'm up. Like, dude, you should be helping me by now, dude. I'm all up, dude. I'll do this all night, bro.
Well, now this is interesting. You have a lot of personal issues here. I'm glad you're talking about them out loud. I think that's the best way to do so, express them openly. Kind of rude in the process of it. And, you know, fellows like you come a dime a dozen. And many times it escalates into the place of, well, no return. Well, it seems that actually did happen. Here it is.
Like, my boss expects me to reply. I was just texting my boss when I hung up. And we make over $1 million a year, and you're pissing me off over $200, bro. Like, dude, I'll literally talk, dude, please, bro. I'll sit down, dude, thank you. Like, dude, just name your price, bro. Dude, I'll sit down, bro. All right, I'll shut the I need a shot right now, because I'm pissed. I need some Don Julio. If you don't got that, not drinking it. I don't touch that. I don't even like to drink. Like, if you bring out some, I'm not even gonna take it. Like, I'm picky. Like, if you're gonna pay for this, my company was gonna pay for it. It's a company experience. Like, you, bro. You don't know who the you're talking to. I'll talk all day to defend my people. I'll talk to the police. I'll talk to the whoever the you want me to talk to. I'll talk to your supervisor, and we'll make a deal. Because at this point, I'm just trying to make a deal, and someone handed me a charger. Like, if you me, like, you're with the team, like, oh, I'll pull up with 100 people right now, and they'll surround this plane and we will not take off.
You see, sir, when you said, do you know who you're talking to right now? Okay. And then you proceeded to become even more hostile in your language. Sir, you're not going to get what you want to get out of life by problem solving in such an adverse way. Sir, I do think you need to take some problem solving skills classes, maybe some anger management classes. And believe it or not, eventually other passengers got fed up with him. Here it is.
Bring me a shot, for real. Like, if you want to be cool, like, bring that shit to me right now.
Shut the f up.
You, bro, you want to talk to me, bro?
No, I don't.
You want to talk to me, then back the f up, bro. Shut your mouth. I just defended you.
Don't talk to women like that.
I'm not even talk to
Shut
me.
the f up.
If she's being a bitch, I'm going to call it out, bro. Shut the f up and sit down, bro. Walk. You have 3 seconds before I f up.
Touch that lady right there. Shut the f up. Like that.
I have 4 sisters. If I want to talk to a bitch like that, I will. The captain's sitting next to me. Y'all are doing it. It's crazy. I never expected this from America. You guys are the best in the game. Like, how would you treat people like this? I expected better from you. I said you have beautiful eyes. Like, I was trying to be nice. Like, I don't even you anymore. Like, don't talk to me. Like, you don't deserve anything you have on your body. Like, that's crazy. You have a watch like that. Like, you don't deserve it. Like.
All right, put up the picture for him, man. Sir, I say this from the heart. You either need to be on something or off something. I don't know which one it is, but I think one or the other would probably help. According to the claims, he claims to be the realest person on the East Coast. Okay, all right, I got some cats that would debate you on that one. That he's doing a feature with Kodak Black. I pray to God that not be the case. If the police would show up, he would F them up. Ain't nothing but ass and opportunity, sir. You're at an airport, or you will be one at one soon. And that American Airlines is #1 in the game. Highly dispute that proclamation. Erupted into a profane 12-minute tirade aboard a packed flight in a viral moment captured on camera. This has ricocheted across social media. According to Mediaite, the passenger who has not been identified as of yet, I'm waiting for Kodak Black to tell us who this person is, launched into this expletive-filled meltdown over what he later described as a reaction to a flight attendant with, quote, beautiful eyes. But what began as a confrontation with staff quickly spiraled into chaos with fellow passengers caught in the crossfire. Quote, you're literally pissing off your customer. Shut the F up, the man barked, tailing a flight attendant down the aisle. At another point, he told a crew member, quote, take those glasses off. You don't deserve to see. F you. I'm done with this ish, bro. Sir, everyone deserves to see, brother. I mean, let's continue. The video, posted in 5 parts on X, shows the man pacing the cabin in a teal t-shirt and khakis, berating staff and threatening to F up the police if they were to get involved. That's a terroristic threat, sir. Quote, you guys F'd with the realest person on the East Coast. End quote. He shouted. Passengers visibly recoiled as the man veered from demanding his phone charger, allegedly packed in a check bag, to promising silence in exchange for favors from the crew, including the opportunity to sit up front with the pilot or a free shot of alcohol. Sir, your privilege is getting out of control here. You are negotiating perks that aren't perks, sir. You don't get to receive bonuses or benefits from you just being a decent human being. There's more. Quote, if you just grab that ish from under the plane real quick, I'll shut the F up, he promised at one point. Instead, the outburst intensified with him threatening to, quote, light a blunt on the plane, bro. lamenting the price of his Starbucks order and justifying insults toward a female passenger by saying he has, quote, 4 sisters. As the cabin descended into chaos, one passenger snapped, quote, dude, you need to shut the up. American Airlines has yet to comment. You know, we've discussed these things before. We've had judges being kicked off of airplanes for doing very little to absolutely nothing. And this guy seemingly breaking every rule in the book. American Airlines, I need you to tell us what happened to this person, okay? Because if the police were not ready for him when he got off that plane, we got a problem. All right, dear brother, thoughts here?
Well, I am personally looking very much forward to this collaboration with Kodak Black and No Chains or 46 Savage or Little Pump Fake or whoever that man thinks that he is. I was all for the white on white crime at one point. A lot of things happened and unpacked in this one video. What in the privilege is going on? He works for a company that makes $1 million. And by the way, that flight attendant did have really nice eyes in his defense. Let's just discuss this kind of behavior is from where? It's a sense of entitlement, and in the illustrious words of fellow comedian TK Kirkland, my man, who raised you? 4 sisters, and that's how you talk to women. 4 sisters and a mom, and this is how you act. 4 sisters and a mom and dad, and this is who you are. You might want to reevaluate your whole life.
There you go. There you go. All right. That's your mirror, sir. Hopefully somebody loves you enough to do an intervention with. All right. Well, here we go. So a Florida councilwoman who was suspended due to hateful tweets now sues. I got a hell of a story. Put it up full mass. Yep, Florida. Okay, so Judy Fike, a city councilwoman in Florida, is suing the city council for anti-bigotry discrimination. Fike is alleging after she was suspended and stripped of her duties pending a full investigation into homophobic and racist tweets, she allegedly posted as far as 2015 and as recent as 2022. According to the Claremont Sun, Fike's suspension came after the Sun published an exclusive investigation report revealing dozens of her old tweets in which she joked about throwing gay people off a roof and showed extreme racial resentment for Black people. The collection of Ms. Fike's offensive screeds extends back to at least 2015 and reveal a deep-seated animus toward Black folk and members of the LGBTQ plus community. Just hours after the Pulse nightclub shooting in June, which happened 2016, nearby Orlando, Ms. Fike posted on Facebook, quote, duh, why would the shooter target a gay club? My answer, easier than marching them up steps to push off the roof. Some sarcasm, some truth. 2015, Fike posted on her Widow Fike account on Twitter, now X, quote, can we divert our attention back to real news? The LGBT freak show has had its run, end quote. The District 4 councilwoman reportedly had to be escorted from a July 7th meeting by police for disrupting proceedings after the vice mayor, Barbara Gaines, who had received printout copies of Fike's alleged tweets from an anonymous source, gave an impassioned speech about racism and being inclusive. The vice mayor said the protest included racist portrayals, the post, included racist portrayals of then President Barack Obama as a monkey. Quote, this is a picture of President Ronald Reagan babysitting Barack Obama, except it is an ape, a baboon, a monkey, or whatever you call it, Gaines said. In several tweets shared at the meeting, Ms. Fike obsesses over the word thug. Hashtag thug, the new N-word she posted in 2015. Another quote, thug life equals thug treatment, no pity for me, end quote. She wrote in 2019, 2022. Fike shared a meme that read, quote, what's the magic word to get what you want? Racist. In her defense over the Pulse nightclub post-fight, claimed for council members that her message was about a presidential candidate in 2016 aligning with the community in the Middle East who were, quote, pushing gay individuals off of buildings. Quote, it was meant as a support of the community, not against the community, she said. Quote, it might have been written in poor taste, but I want to clarify that for you because that was going on at the time. Oh, she's a slick one. She's a slick one, all right? So she has a justification, clarification, okay? There's more. Fike went further about other posts, denying responsibility altogether. Quote, those are indeed manipulated, and so I just let that rest, she said at the meeting. They are not my words. Some are, and there are some copies, but what Barbara just showed were absolutely not products of mine, end quote. Council members were not swayed and voted her suspended until the investigation is complete. 2 days later, Ms. Fike responded with the lawsuit. So let's get this right. So the one you do take responsibility for, what it seems you meant the opposite, okay? And then the other ones, you just claim fake news, made up, not my words, never said it, words taken out of context. I would bet you're a Trump supporter. There's more. Quote, Fike's attorney, Anthony Sabatini, filed a motion for a preliminary injunction against the city of Groveland at the 5th Judicial Court of Lake County on July 9th, the Sun reported in the filing. He is claiming $100,000 plus in damages. Last month, Judy Fike issued an apology claiming she takes, quote, full responsibility for my past words, end quote. But much of her statement was devoted to defending herself against what she unsurprisingly calls a political attack. Quote, I've campaigned on inclusiveness, fairness, and standing up for Groveland, not tearing others down, she wrote. That's what makes this political attack so disappointing. These tweets didn't suddenly resurface. Someone chose to dig them up and distribute them anonymously in an election season to distract from the real issues. Quote, I will not let that tactic work, she continued. Ma'am, they're yours, ma'am. You know they have services where you can go and hire an app company to go through and find all your racist stuff and delete them. All right, you may want to utilize it. But you told us these were not your words. So either they're your words or they're not your words. Which one? Judy Fike claims she takes, quote, full responsibility for her words, saying, quote, I regret them deeply. I assume she's saying that they're hers now, okay? I regret them deeply and I sincerely apologize to anyone who was hurt by them, but specifically members of the LGBTQ community and black folk. That's what you should say. But she apologized to anyone who was hurt by them. She even went as far as to declare, quote, personal growth isn't always neat or pretty, but it is necessary, end quote. However, she hasn't grown so much that she's above suing over her suspension because the exposure of her regretful words is part of a political attack. That's not regret for what she said, it's regret for getting caught. Okay, Councilwoman, if this is one of those moments of personal growth, and we all have them, hopefully we will always have them. Typically, you don't sue people for telling the truth. You allow the truth to stand. And if you don't, the truth continues to just, well, whoop your ass at certain points of your progression. But if you're sincere, drop the lawsuit, madam. That probably will go a long way in helping some folk believe that you actually are. I don't know what to say here, dear brother. What are your thoughts?
Well, to be very fair, Judy Fikes is a Florida councilwoman, and a councilwoman is supposed to represent their community. And I'm sure in some ways she actually represents the thoughts of many people in her particular community. However, she does not deserve to be a councilwoman. And she also does not deserve a lawsuit. You cannot sue for slander for someone telling the exact truth. Literally posting tweets and posts that you have made online to a public forum is not a suable offense. Something tells me she's gonna start a GoFundMe and that floods of MAGA supporters will send her $1 million. Tomorrow, she might be appointed head of DOJ or a Supreme Court justice by this current administration. I'm sure her career in the Trump administration will be fine, but as a human being, she has completely failed.
And let me tell you what's very sad and ironic. She's technically more qualified than half of the folk in the current Trump administration right now. Insanely so. All right, we got more on the other side. It's indisputable, stick and stay.
Indisputable is still the fastest growing news show in America compared to CNN, Fox News, and 30 other networks. We tell the truth on Indisputable because the truth is indisputable. We go places that other news media outlets refuse to go. When there were human rights abuses happening at the Victorville prison, guards and members of the community contacted us.
You, through your investigative reporting, unearthed very troubling allegations about specific forms of abuse and discrimination in the federal prison system.
It really doesn't take much to be a trusted voice. All it takes is to be fearless, report on matters, be an advocate. I called it the bullpen intentionally because it's a place of preparation. We present individuals who may have an opposing view, so we debate. Sometimes we interview individuals because their stories deserve to be heard. A survivor of significant police misconduct and his attorney. We covered this story earlier, and to remind you of the horror of one man being shot at damn near 100 times by the police. We take time on this show to showcase the temper tantrums of Karens in the wild. We do this not because we want to see people's emotional outbursts in public, but because these incidents are emblematic of a bigger societal issue taking place across the nation, and it has to be checked.
My friend, my big homie, attorney at law, Benjamin Crump.
I just want to thank you, man. Educated, articulate brothers like yourself speak truth to power. It makes a great difference in changing the landscape in America. So
listen, no matter what you do, don't allow the politics of ideology to evaporate the soul that still exists inside of you. They don't stop, I don't stop. Racism won't stop, I won't stop. Systemic bias won't stop, I won't stop. People still need health care, so I won't stop. People still need criminal justice systems reform, so I won't stop. You won't stop either.
All right. I was going to be with you. We got a lot of comments. We'll read as many as I can. Preston _the Dragon ain't getting that feature from Kodak now. Stupid. Yeah, we'll see. Dromario, he ain't even the baddest holder bar of East of Coast soap. That's right. And Tyler Hagner says, definitely divorced dad energy. That's the first. That's funny. And let's see. Yep, Joe Mario, and she would have gotten away with it if it wasn't for those meddling kids. Talking about the councilwoman, Florida. All right, well, here we go. Ex-N.Y.P.D. commissioner says the mayor of New York runs New York as a crime ring. Hell of a thing, put it a full mask. Hell of an accusation here from a highly credible individual who worked in the administration. So ex-NYPD commissioner is suing the New York City mayor, Mr. Eric Adams, and alleging he ran the police department as a criminal enterprise. The Associated Press reports New York City's former interim police commissioner is suing Mayor Eric Adams and his top deputies, accusing them of operating the New York Police Department as a criminal enterprise. In a federal racketeering lawsuit filed Wednesday, the ex-commissioner, Thomas Donlan, alleges Mayor Adams and his inner circle showered unqualified loyalists with promotions, buried allegations of misconduct, and gratuitously punished whistleblowers, all very illegal. It is the latest in a series of recent lawsuits by former N.Y.P.D. leaders describing a department ruled by graft and cronyism, with swift repercussions for those who questioned the mayor's allies. In a statement, City Hall spokesperson Kyla Altis, called the allegations, quote, baseless, blasting the ex-commissioner as a disgruntled former employee when given the opportunity to lead the greatest police department in the world, proved himself to be ineffective. So Donlan, a longtime FBI official, was appointed last fall by Adams to stabilize the department with ongoing federal investigations and high-profile resignations. He stepped down less than a month into the job after federal authorities searched his home for decades-old documents that he said were unrelated to his work at the department. During his brief tenure, Donlan said he uncovered, quote, systemic corruption and criminal conduct enabled by Mayor Adams and carried out by his hand-picked confidants who operated outside the department's standard chain of command. Their alleged corruption triggered a, quote, massive unlawful transfer of public wealth, the suit alleges, through unearned salary increases, overtime payments, pension enhancement, and other benefits. In one case, Donlan said he caught the department's former top spokesperson, Tariq Shepard, improperly using his rubber signature to give himself a raise and promotion. When Donlan confronted him, Shepard allegedly threatened to kill him. The lawsuit also accuses police leaders of blocking internal investigations requested by Donlan and refusing to cooperate with federal authorities. And it outlines several instances in which officers with little experience but close connections to Adams' allies receive promotions, sometimes in exchange for favors. The lawsuit names Adams and 8 current and former high-ranking N.Y.P.D. officials, including Chief of Department John Chell and Deputy Mayor Kaz Daughtry. The lawsuit calls for a federal takeover of the N.Y.P.D. and unspecified damages for Donlan, whose professional reputation was deliberately destroyed, according to the suit. We've had other allegations from business owners who said that the N.Y.P.D. was engaged in a systematic shakedown of their enterprise. And when they did not play ball with the administration, they would then be subjected to targeting. This is also part of an investigation that is ongoing. Hell of a thing. All right, Tehran, thoughts? All right, looks like we got a tech issue. All right, we'll be right back. We got more on the other side. Indisputable, stick and stay.
Indisputable is still the fastest growing news show in America compared to CNN, Fox News, and 30 other networks. We tell the truth on Indisputable because the truth is indisputable. We go places that other news media outlets refuse to go. When there were human rights abuses happening at the Victorville prison, guards and members of the community contacted us.
You, through your investigative reporting, unearthed very troubling allegations about specific forms of abuse and discrimination in the federal prison system.
It really doesn't take much to be a trusted voice. All it takes is to be fearless, report on matters, be an advocate. I called it the bullpen intentionally because it's a place of preparation. We present individuals who may have an opposing view, so we debate. Sometimes we interview individuals because their stories deserve to be heard. A survivor of significant police misconduct and his attorney. We covered this story earlier. Let me remind you of the horror of one man being shot at damn near 100 times by the police. We take time on this show to showcase the temper tantrums of Karens in the wild. We do this not because we want to see people's emotional outbursts in public, but because these incidents are emblematic of a bigger societal issue taking place across the nation, and it has to be checked.
My friend, my big homie, attorney at law, Benjamin Crump.
I just want to thank you, man. Educated, articulate brothers like yourself speak truth to power. It makes a great difference in changing the landscape in America. So
listen, no matter what you do, don't allow the politics of ideology to evaporate the soul that still exists inside of you. They don't stop, I don't stop. Racism won't stop, I won't stop. Systemic bias won't stop, I won't stop. People still need health care, so I won't stop. People still need criminal justice systems reform, so I won't stop. You won't stop either.
All right, welcome back. Always good to be with you. All right, hell of a thing. Louisiana police officials arrested in alleged visa fraud schemes. Put it up full mass. A lot of cops caught up in this. According to The Hill, multiple Louisiana law enforcement officials, including 2 city police chiefs, have been charged following an FBI investigation into an alleged visa fraud and bribery scheme that prevented immigrants from being deported. The U.S. Attorney's Office for Louisiana's Western District said in a news release, Oakdale Police Chief Chad Doyle, Forest Hill Police Chief Glenn Dixon, and former Glenmore Police Chief Thibault O'Neill were part of a conspiracy to get non-immigrant U visas by making false police reports about bogus violent crimes against immigrants in exchange for thousands of dollars. Also charged in the alleged scheme were Oakdale City Marshal Michael Slaney and Oakdale businessman Chandrakant Patel. The U non-immigration status prevents some immigrant victims of crimes in the U.S. from being deported. So the process to apply for a U visa begins with a petition where a law enforcement official must certify that the alleged crime happened and that the victim cooperated with law enforcement in the criminal investigation. The Niskanen Center writes, to be eligible for a U visa, a petitioner must prove they suffered substantial physical or mental harm due to certain crimes, as well as not committing any previous crimes. A grand jury indicted Dole, Dixon, O'Neill, Slaney, and Patel this week. According to the indictments, immigrants seeking U visas would allegedly contact Patel, who would help them be named as victims in police reports alleging armed robbery. The prosecutors alleged the immigrants said Patel, the prosecutors alleged the immigrants paid Patel thousands of dollars to get law enforcement officials to write false police reports and provide certification as supporting documents for the U visa applications. The officials allegedly were compensated in return. Authorities alleged the scheme stretched as long as a decade and continued until last month. The officers faced various counts of conspiracy to commit visa fraud, mail fraud, and money laundering. Patel also faces bribery charges. If convicted, each faces a sentence for up to 5 years in prison on each of the conspiracy charges, up to a decade on the visa fraud charges, up to 20 years on the mail fraud charges, and Patel faces up to 10 years on the additional bribery charge. They also could pay a fine of $250,000 on each count. Federal authorities have moved to seize some of their personal property, including bank accounts and vehicles. President Trump's administration has focused heavily on deportation since its return in January. Trump and his allies have also long backed efforts to cut the U visa protections to prevent potential misuse. The investigation into the Louisiana visa case was led by Trump's new Homeland Security Task Force, created to facilitate his immigration crackdown. Very, very unfortunate. Okay, so what do we have? We have dirty cops. And they obviously didn't care about immigrants. What they cared about was money. And they engaged in a pay-to-stay scheme that goes all the way back at least 10 years prior to today. That's what you have, and that is the indictment or allegation. All right, dear brother, thoughts here?
Well, there's a lot of things to unpack in this situation. Just for people who want to understand what's happening is the police in this case were basically creating crimes for non-visa holders and immigrants to be victims of. And because they were victims of said crimes, they would be allowed to apply for a U visa, a visa that is for certain crime victims. Now, why did this happen? much like how prohibition allowed for the rise of alcoholism in the United States, by making something super illegal, you open the door for this type of corruption, as we see in the police force. Secondly, what they were doing was not only highly illegal, it's just disgustingly immoral. You are preying on the weak and the innocent and utilizing their want and desperation for your own financial gain. Last but not least, in that outline of police officers, people we were supposed to trust, who are there to serve the community, they did Chandrak Patel so wrong. Why was his photo like, and everybody else looked so good? Like he was already in the orange. They showed model pictures, GQ pictures of the other officers. Yeah. So they even did the immigrant in their own lineup dirty. These are the people you're dealing with.
Yeah, there you go. And you're right, this is a scheme, but the scheme exists because of a paradigm that allows for the scheme. And when you have something like this, law enforcement, obviously, they've been taking advantage of this for many years. You have other departments or other people doing it as well. This is the first that we've heard and reported of on Indisputable. I'm looking forward to the update. It's going to be interesting. All right. Donald Trump, I mean, he steals a damn trophy. How else can you put it? He stole it. It wasn't his, he walked off with it. Let's put it up full mass. Donald Trump kept the World Cup trophy for himself and left the team with a replica. According to the report, President Donald Trump is keeping the original World Cup trophy in the Oval Office. He claimed that they let him keep it. The gold-plated trophy permanently, and a new one was made for the winning team. Obviously, there's some pushback on that narrative. And if you see how he just walked away with the damn thing, everyone was really uncomfortable with the whole dynamic. So according to The Independent, Trump revealed that the officials gave him the Club World Cup trophy ahead of Chelsea's win. That's what he says in the inaugural competition's final. Before the showpiece game at MetLife Stadium, New Jersey, Trump told broadcasters, DAZN, that he was given the trophy and that it currently sits in the Oval Office, and that the president of the organization visited the White House along with the trophy in March. Quote, they said, could you hold this trophy for a little while? So we put it over our office, Trump said. And then I said, when are you going to pick up the trophy? He says, we're never going to pick it up. You can have it forever in the Oval Office. We're making a new one. You know, that don't even sound right. All right, dear brother, I want you to opine on that.
Well, considering that Trump has an amazing golf game, as he mentioned when he was debating Biden, I'm imagining he's an amazing soccer player as well. And that's why he deserved this trophy. Clearly, this man is a bully, consistently a bully. And this was nothing but highway robbery. He stole the trophy and then basically Ukraine presidented them into apologizing and publicly stating that they gave him the trophy. There is no way in no world do football players, and by football, I mean what we call in America soccer,
yes,
who played the entire season in order to win a replica. That doesn't even sound right. It doesn't look right. It doesn't feel right. But what we will be told is that this is fake news. Right. This is the true hoax.
Yeah, and the players made it very clear. Trump didn't do a damn thing to earn a trophy, nor should he have one. All right. Dear brother, always good to have you on the program. Tell people how they can follow you, check out your great work.
Thank you so much for following me and always having me on the show. Find me at I Am Tehran all across the board, all over social media, and in a city near you. I will be in Australia and New Zealand this week and next week coming up for shows spreading what I consider the truth of the truth in a world full of lies. So thank you so much. Make sure to follow.
Thank you, dear brother, for all that you do. Remember, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, take care of the planet. Remember, the truth is always indisputable.